John is the opposite, right? John tells you what he said, why he said it, what John thinks about it, and what we should think about it. He kind of extracts it out of, the long view after many years have gone by. Mark tells you some of the language, if you could read the Greek, and if you do read Greek, I would suggest you go and get a Greek New Testament. It's very interesting. He writes like some of his healing scenes, like at the scene of the leper, he says, it's not, and then the leper approached Jesus, and Jesus said, do you want to be cleansed? Yes, Lord, I want to be cleansed, in the past tense. The way Mark writes is, and then the leper comes up to him and says, and Jesus says, well, what do you want? And the leper says, Lord, can you heal me? And then Jesus said, okay, it's a mix of present tense and past tense, because there's an immediate sort of colloquial, rough and ready way of writing, street Greek in a certain way, not street Greek, but a less elegant Greek than Matthew and definitely Matthew and Luke. And so he's just trying to convey to you in sort of a shorter period of time, because the Romans are the original ones who just want just the facts. The Greeks were the ones who wanted all the philosophy and all the highfalutin language and all that stuff. But the Romans just wanted to know A, B, C, the shortest possible way to get to where you want to go. And that is how Mark probably should be read. So it's sort of a concentrated view of what Jesus did through the eyes of Jesus's vicar and best friend, Peter. Originally, Galilee was the breadbasket, Samaria was a place where you don't want to go, and Judea is where the political capital was, the economic capital probably as well, in Jerusalem. So it was like a political religious center. Okay, that's why you wanted to be in Jerusalem. And the Yehudahites, or the Jews, were, quote, the pure ones. The ones who came back, and they're pure Jews. And so they kind of looked down on the people in Galilee as hicks, basically. To put it into our parlance, right? What could come out of that region up there? So I'm sure we recognize the dynamics even in our own world today whenever we think of certain regions, right? So that's the setup in terms of Israel. So I just want you to see, because the beginning part of Mark begins around the Lake of Galilee. We're going to go around the Lake of Galilee, you're going to see. And then he's going to go through Samaria. Who goes through Samaria? No one, except for Jesus. Why? Why would he want to do that? Because he has come to bring everybody in, not just the Jews. Okay? So that's one of the messages of the Gospel of Mark. He's bringing everybody in, even the people who are the least acceptable, even the Gentiles, which was unbelievable. Just you wouldn't even imagine that would ever happen. And so he goes from Galilee through Samaria to Judea, and that's where he spends the last part of the Gospel of Mark, as you would imagine, that details the events right before his passion, his death, and his resurrection.